Now, next is we're going to talk about the gated S-R latch. So with the gated S-R latch, we have the one more extra input. So consider this input, so this input here, the EN input, so it means the enable, as a power on or power off button. That's it. So this is basically the same S-R latch, but this button is the output changed only when the enabled is on. Okay, so that is the only difference here. So we add this extra part here. So this part here is now to enable the latch. Okay, so when you send the high signal from this input, only then this output will be enabled. Okay, and as you can see here, so the output, the Q is changing only when the N is high. So when the N is high, the output is changing. When N is low here, for example, throughout this duration, the EN is low, enabled is low, so meaning the latch is off, right? In this case, although the S and R is changing, right? So this is they are changing from 1 to 0, from 0 to 1, etc. But as you can see, the output is not changing, right? So output is always 1 here. So that means the latch is disabled. It's in an off position. Again, when the enable is on, so again when EN is high, now we can look at the S is 0, R is 1, so we can change the output to be equal to 0, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let me see if we have the latch. This is the gated S-R latch. So we just add the one more input called the EN. Okay, so now let me connect this one. Okay, so now whenever I change the input and output, sorry, it will change only if the EN is enabled. So if I disable the EN, then nothing will happen. Okay, I can keep changing the input and output, the input as much as I want, but as you can see, the output is not changing. Why? Because enabled is 0 here. Okay, so and then we have another one called the gated D latch. So what is D latch? Now instead of the 2 inputs, we have only single input, right? So before with this latch, we have the input S, we have the input R, and we always in order to change the set and reset, if we send the high through the S, we usually send the low through the R. And if we send the low through the S, we have to send the high through the R. We are doing this manually. Instead of that, what we can do is we can just directly connect the first input here. So let me zoom in. So what I can do is I can just connect this first input directly to the second one through the NOT gate. So now I have the only single input, S. So this one is not S anymore. This one is called the D now, input D, because we are using a D latch. D means the data. So when you send the 1 from here, so let me send the 1. Okay, so this is the active high. So when I send the D is 1, so the output is here is equal to 0. If I send 0 here, so let me change 0, so output will be equal to 1. Okay, so as you can see, all I have to change only the single input. Whenever I change the input, right, so I just change this input, so output will be changed automatically. Okay, so now I don't have the S and R inputs, I have only one input D. So as you can see, and also I have the enable. So when the D is 1, enable is 1, the output will be, the Q will be equal to 1. So let's say that here the D is 0, but enable is low here. So enable is 0, so output will not change. Output will be same as the previous output, which was equal to 1. So let's say if the enable is high here, and then I check the input is 0, so now I can change the output will be again equal to 0. So this is how the D latch works.